guys, this is Liam and welcome to Drive Around Town episode 2. Today we're going to be showing the 1967 Plymouth Valiant that I have under my ownership. Now, one thing I want to mention, guys, if you enjoy the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel for more car content, van living content, interesting stuff in general. Now, I bought this car because here in Saskatchewan there's actually I guess law that if your car is of a certain age before 1987, it's really cheap to insure. So I bought this economy car from the late 60s, the Plymouth Valiant, and really fell in love with the thing. It's an excellent car, and you know, frankly, I think the history of Chrysler in retrospect might have been changed had they never ended the Valiant and Dodge Dart line of cars, because it was their replacements that caused them partially to have a lot of financial issues, among other things. I hope my fat head doesn't obscure the view too much. So I'll take the key. This, of course, being before 1973 or whatever it was. Its key cylinder is on the dash, not on the steering column, because you didn't have to have a locking steering column back in this age. So it's pretty easy, as you can see. I'm going to try to drive kind of carefully because I got the camera back here sitting on a tripod and I don't want to dump it over. Alright, let's go for a little cruise down the side streets. It is Sunday today, so there's no school zones here in town. This car is a classic little economy vehicle from the 1960s. They're a fairly rare car, and especially one in this kind of condition. As you guys can see, it doesn't have any rust on it. Like, it's in very good shape. It has an aftermarket paint job, as you can see, but you know, what are you going to do? I kind of would have preferred the original paint, but maybe it wasn't that good underneath. It was a gold colored car originally, kind of like the interior. What's kind of interesting about these old Chryslers is that their ride is actually really good with the torsion bar front suspension, or torsion air as they call it. Actually, maybe I'll go this way. Torsion air suspension. And if you guys aren't aware of what that is, you should search it up. It's an interesting type of suspension where it's a bar that gets twisted, and that's how the spring works, rather than just having a coil spring. This car, I have to say as well, is an extremely fun ride. Like, it's not really boaty in any way. Like, it has actually fully manual steering. It doesn't have any power boosting on it at all. So it's very tight, responsive steering. And like I say, with the very advanced suspension that Chrysler had for the time, it makes for kind of a sporty little car. It also does not have manual brakes. Sorry, it does not have power brakes. So it's just, it's still hydraulic brakes, of course, but there's no boosting on it. So as you stop, you're just using your own mechanical force. With obviously you have some mechanical advantage because of the way they're designed. But as a result, they're kind of heavy brakes, and they're also drum brakes. So this car does not stop as well as a modern car, that's for sure. But that being said, it's a very fun drive. Responsive motor. That's the thing about older cars from the 60s versus the 70s, is that these things really did not have much emissions equipment on them. So it's a very responsive motor. As you guys can hear. And I'll show you guys here as well. Pretty much everything on the car works. Like, its AM radio works. Works great. That's kind of fun, you know, you get to listen to old period correct tunes sometimes, especially if something like the Turtles or the Beatles comes on, very period correct. The heater does work, it works great. Blows very hot. No AC, but this is Saskatchewan. You don't really need that, to be perfectly honest. Actually, you know what? Let me go straight through here. And headlights work, rear air works. It doesn't have actual electric defrosters back there. It just blows air, so eventually you get hot air. It does have the, I don't know if you guys can see that down by the floor, it has the high beam switch down there. It's kind of a fun, unique owner feature. I remember I was seeing that once and I was like, what the heck is that? And horn works, so it's kind of cool and old sounding. I'll give it a beep. Yeah, it's just a fun little car, you know. Girls like it, people like it, old guys like it. That's definitely the biggest demographic by far that likes the car, I would say. I often see old guys, you know, give me a thumbs up as I'm driving past. It's also, I don't know if you guys can see this based on your angle, but it's also got the smoker's windows here, which are really, 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 really nice in the summer. What's cool too about these smoker's windows is that people don't really know how to use them, obviously, because new cars don't have them. But man, are they ever good, because brakes are a little noisy. Sorry guys, gotta replace them at some point. But these smoker windows are great because as you're moving forward, they direct air inside, but they don't blow it at your face and mess up your hair and stuff. They somehow, the way they're angled, they blow it straight like at your body and your legs. So it's, bought this car for $1,700, and I think that was a pretty good deal considering how classic the car is and the miles per gallon and all that. And considering that it ran perfectly, it just needed like a voltage rectifier because the battery was not that great. Oops. I wonder if I can turn around up there. No, I'll just back up here. Obviously not very collectible. Like these Plymouth Valiants, people say like, wow, this is so nice, you got a really, really good deal for it. That being said, this car, clearly nobody bought it because it was really cheap. It was $1,700. I mean, there's cars from the 80s that are way more expensive than that. Matter of fact, I was primarily looking at cars from the 80s when I wanted to buy an antique. And obviously Chrysler is not a name brand. You know, they have kind of a bad reputation over time for reliability. But I found that that's kind of unfair in a way. They're very reliable cars. Their quality, I guess, could be probably hit or miss depending on the car. And especially now that they're owned by all these different companies. Quality kind of depends on who owns them, I guess. But these old Chryslers, they're very, very reliable vehicles and extremely easy to work on overall. And this car is a four-door sedan, right? When I say that I haven't seen any four-door sedan Valiants, I meant that. I've seen Plymouth Dusters before, or Plymouth Scamps, that sort of thing, but never a four-door sedan because people don't collect them, people don't restore them. They were junk, I guess, to a lot of people after a certain amount of time. But what's funny though is that as I've going to car shows and stuff, people always say either I had one of these when I was young, or my friend had one of these, and we loved that car, right? But they were just kind of like economy get-around cars, and people just threw them away, I suppose, after a while. And that's the cool thing about buying something kind of unusual, is that not only can you usually get a good deal on something that's not kind of what people collect all the time, but also you get to save a car that might have potentially gone in the trash. You never know, right? But if you want to get into old car collecting, really anything with a 6-cylinder is great. Like if you could find like a a Plymouth Belvedere with the 6-cylinder, or a Chevy 6-cylinder, a Ford Falcon. Matter of fact, that guy, Taylor Street. Ooh, no, I might go down a bit further. Actually, no, I'll turn left here. Matter of fact, that guy, Regular Car Reviews, he owns an early 60s Ford Falcon, I believe. Same thing, they're reliable cars. They've got, especially if you kind of change out the carburetor on them to maybe something a bit freer breathing, and you do a couple other things, they can be fun, sporty cars too. A lot of them come with 3 on the tree. You can find them with an automatic transmission. You just want to do your research on what's good, right? Like the automatic transmissions on these cars are very, very good transmissions. The torque flights, they have a pretty good reliability record as far as. All right, let's head on back. Woo. Yeah, she can accelerate decently enough to have fun with legally. That's the thing, is that if you want to go really, really fast with, if you get especially something bigger like a 340, you might get some tickets, and it'd be more expensive. You have to pay more for something like that. And another advantage I'll mention of the 4-door sedan is that you can bring kids around in it and stuff. You can bring, obviously with a 2-door coupe, you get enough space for your girlfriend, but if you want to bring like your nephews around, or something like that, the big car is fun. You can bring, your little cousins or something around for a ride on it. So there's some advantages to having a 4-door sedan. And that's another thing that's kind of puzzling, is that a lot of these guys that collect cars, they're a bit older. Some of them have kids and stuff. And I guess it's just kind of an ingrained conception of that the 2-door car is sporty and the 4-door car is grandpa mobile, whereas this car is a 4-door sedan. But as you guys can see, I think from me driving it, it's a really responsive engine. It handles nice, it corners nice. This is probably as sporty a car as a lot of the mid-60s Mustangs that they had a 302 or something in them, or a 6-cylinder from the Ford Falcon. They weren't real speed machines, It's probably at least as good as that. But I get why some of these guys, they don't see that. They don't get the 4-door sedan, especially considering they're so cheap and it's a unique thing to collect. All right. Okay, so let's head back. There you go. The brakes work pretty good. It stops you once or twice. All right, guys. Yeah, that's the '67 Plymouth Valiant. It is one of those cars that I never intend on selling, and you never know what circumstances life will bring up. But it's such a gem that people don't collect these. You never see them. And this one happens to be in quite good shape. It's definitely not perfect. It's clearly not restored. But, for a 50-year-old car that at one point would have been used as a day-to-day car, it runs really, really nice, and it's in very, very good condition. As a matter of fact, this car, it's so reliable. I used it as a day-to-day car last summer, the entire time, and autumn as well. I used this as my daily driver, no joke. Guys, and I'll bring you some more drive around towns with some of my other cars at some point. All right, take it easy, guys.